It begins with a single knock, one sound cutting through the silence of a sleeping town. At exactly 3:17 a.m., deep in rural Vermont, a woman woke up to a knock on her front door. Just one. Not repeated, not frantic. Just one deliberate knock, as if someone wanted her attention, but didn't want to wake the whole world. That moment triggered one of the strangest unsolved mysteries the state has ever seen. Who was the man standing outside her house? Why was he soaking wet? And what or who was he running from? Tonight, we go inside one of the eeriest unexplained cases ever recorded. This is the 3:17 a.m. knock mystery. It was February 2021. A single mother, whose real name has been kept private by police, lived in an old farmhouse surrounded by acres of forest. Her nights were quiet, predictable, peaceful. But on that night, at 3:17 a.m., everything changed. She shot awake without knowing why. No nightmare. No noise inside the house. Just a strange feeling. Then she heard it. Knock. One sharp, deliberate knock. She froze. First, she thought it was a dream. Then she checked the security camera feed on her phone, the one facing the front porch. That's when she saw him. A man, tall, barefoot, clothes dripping with water, standing completely still and staring directly into the camera lens. He wasn't shivering. He wasn't moving. He was just watching. The woman whispered, "Do you need help?" The man leaned slightly closer and whispered back, "Please let me in. They're coming." His voice was tired, hollow, almost like he had been running for hours. But before she could respond, he stepped sideways out of frame. She expected him to walk around the house or knock again, but there was nothing. No footsteps, no rustling, no motion alert. He was simply gone. She called 911 immediately. Police arrived in just under 10 minutes, rare for such a remote place. They found no footprints, no water trail, no tire marks, no broken branches near the forest line. But the oddest part, her porch was wet, as if someone dripping water had been standing there. But the ground, dry. The temperature that night was below freezing. Water should have turned to ice instantly. Yet the porch had puddles, while the surrounding ground was dry and untouched. The officers reviewed her camera footage. A single frame showed the man, but right after he stepped away, the recording glitched for 2 seconds. Not the usual signal loss, a full whiteout frame, like something overloaded the motion sensor. The police searched the forest, the nearby road, and the abandoned barn down the hill, but after 2 hours, they found nothing. No missing person was reported in the area. No one described a man matching him. No one had been out in the storm, so they labeled it unidentified subject. No threat detected. The woman tried to calm down, not knowing the nights would get much worse. The next night, she didn't sleep. Every little sound made her check the cameras. Minutes turned into hours, and then
3:17 Uhr nachts.
The exact time. Another knock. Same sound. Same rhythm. Just once. But when she checked the camera, no one was there. The porch was empty. Yet she heard the knock with her own ears. Police came again. They checked the sensors, nothing. One officer suggested it could be thermal expansion. Old houses make sounds at night. But she knew the difference between wood shifting and a human knuckle hitting her door. Still, she tried to convince herself it was nothing. That night, she barely slept. At this point, she was exhausted, falling asleep unintentionally around midnight. At 3:17 a.m., she woke again. No knock this time, just silence. She opened the camera app, nothing. But then, she noticed something strange. On the footage timeline, the motion sensor triggered at 3:17 a.m., but recorded nothing. Just a flicker, like a shadow passed by the lens for half a second. She slowed the video to 0.25 speed, and for a single frame, maybe less, a shape appeared behind the porch railing. A human silhouette, tall, still, watching, then gone. She didn't call the police this time. They already thought she was imagining things. She just locked every door and sat in her room until sunrise. On the fourth night, the knock returned, but this time, there were two. She checked the cameras instantly, hoping to catch him. And there he was, the same man, barefoot, soaking wet. Except now he looked worse. His head was tilted. His clothes looked torn. His skin looked pale, almost bluish. He stared into the camera again. But this time he didn't speak. The woman whispered through the door, "Who's coming? What are you running from?" He didn't answer. He only pointed toward the forest, a slow shaking point. Then he mouthed one word, "Run." But before she could react, he vanished again. No footsteps, no sound, just silence. Police reviewed this footage too, and this time even they were disturbed. One officer said, "He's not breathing normally, he's not shivering. It's 16 degrees out here." Another pointed out something eerie. The man's reflection in the glass door did not match his motions perfectly. It lagged by a fraction of a second, like the image had two layers. Police wondered, was it camera distortion, cold interference, or something else? They increased patrols near the area, but the woman knew they couldn't protect her from something they didn't understand. On the sixth night, there was no knock. The porch remained empty, but at 3:17 a.m., every camera around the house glitched simultaneously. The forest cameras, the backyard camera, even the barn camera, all flashed a white screen for 3 seconds. When the footage returned, everything was normal, except one thing. In the barn camera just before the glitch, a shape stood behind the old horse stall, a tall silhouette, watching. By the seventh night, the woman had packed a bag. She was planning to leave the house before midnight, but she never made it out in time. At 3:17 a.m., the knock returned. Strong, louder. Urgent. She grabbed her phone immediately and checked the camera. And what she saw still haunts the officers who viewed it later. The man was back, but this time he wasn't alone. Behind him, barely visible in the darkness, multiple figures stood at the edge of the forest. Not moving, not approaching, just watching. Their shapes were tall, but wrong. Too long, too still. The man whispered into the camera, "They found me." Then he turned slowly and looked toward the tree line. The footage blurred. The motion sensor overloaded. And when the camera reset, every figure was gone, including him. That was the last night anything happened. No more knocks, no more figures, no more glitches. The woman moved out 2 days later. Police continued monitoring the property for a month, but never found the man or anyone else. They still have no explanation, no matching missing person, no tracks, no evidence of forced entry, no signs of cult activity or trespassers. One officer, off the record, said, I don't know what she saw, but whatever it wasn't a person surviving out there in those temperatures. The cameras remain archived with the department. Even today, investigators say this. We don't know who the man was, but we're certain of one thing. Something was coming for him, and he didn't want to face it alone. If the story unsettled you, imagine how it felt to hear that knock in the dark. Subscribe to Whispers Unsolved for more chilling mysteries that the world has forgotten or refuses to explain.